Welcome back to Talk Tickers. You know how this works? We break down those earnings calls so you don't have to. This time, Expedia Group Q3. Are they soaring high or hitting some turbulence?
Well, we've got our boarding passes and a whole suitcase of intel, their transcripts, articles, stock movements, the whole shebang.
Always so prepared. But really, who has the time to dig through all that? That's where we come in, right?
Absolutely. No financial jargon overload here, just the key insights and maybe some food for thought.
Love that. So, big picture first. They actually beat expectations on earnings and gross bookings, but revenue was right on target.
Kind of impressive given the headwinds they face. Think weather disruptions, the whole currency exchange thing that's been going around, and, well, the general economic mood lately.
Not exactly smooth sailing for anyone, so where's the growth coming from?
Gross bookings were up 7% year over year, and get this, it's actually accelerating from last quarter. Lodging, particularly hotels, were the real stars, up 8% and 10% respectively.
So the whole revenge travel thing isn't over yet, huh? People still want those hotel stays.
You got it. And it's not just domestic either. International demand is actually outpacing domestic, meaning even stronger growth outside the U.S.
Interesting. Maybe folks are finally feeling more comfortable venturing further out. Okay, zoom in time. What's the story with brand Expedia specifically?
Brand Expedia is on a roll. Room nights jumped by double digits year over year. A lot of that's got to be those new features they rolled out, especially for booking those multi-item trips.
You mean like those packages where you get your flight, hotel, rental car all in one go?
Exactly. Convenience is key. Travelers love that simplicity, often with a discount to boot.
Streamlines everything. Smart move. Now, what about Vrbo? Didn't they have some hiccups earlier this year?
They did. That tech replatforming, remember? But they've bounced back strong. Their first full quarter of booking growth this year, even more impressive. They added 1 million units previously exclusive to brand Expedia, letting them expand into urban areas and offer shorter stays.
So Vrbo's branching out in a big way. And their loyalty program, One Key, how's that doing? It's still pretty new, right?
One Key is showing serious promise. Active members are up 7%, and that 12-month repeat rate, super important for loyalty programs, jumped a solid 150 basis points.
Wow, they're not messing around, building that loyal customer base.
For sure. And they keep sweetening the deal, adding things like member-only Vrbo discounts and more airline redemption options on brand Expedia.
Got to keep those travelers engaged. Okay, can't talk Expedia without their B2B business. That's been a huge growth driver for them, right?
Absolutely. B2B kept up that phenomenal growth, up 19% year over year. And it's not just one area. This is across all partner segments and regions. They even landed a brand new partnership with Microsoft Bing.
Microsoft Bing. That's a big one. And speaking of tech, Expedia's been making some noise about their AI stuff. What are they up to on that front?
They're using it in some clever ways, both for customers and for themselves behind the scenes.
Right.
For example, generative AI for things like property Q&A. Imagine having all your questions about a place answered instantly.
That's awesome. What else?
Well, there's also smart filters using natural language processing, AI-powered review summarization that pulls out the key insights, and even virtual agents to help customers with inquiries.
So AI is basically making everything smoother and more personal, both for travelers and for Expedia themselves.
Precisely. It's about making travel more seamless, efficient, and enjoyable for everyone.
Win-win. Now, a little shift here. Leadership changes. There were some, right?
Right. Julie Wayland, the CFO, she's stepping down. They're
Yeah.
searching for a successor, so it should be smooth sailing. On the other hand, they welcomed Ramanathumu as their new chief technology officer. He's got over 20 years leading tech teams, most recently at Fanatics, where he built and scaled their multi-brand platform, very relevant experience for Expedia's ambitions.
Seems like they've got the right folks in place to handle all this evolving tech. But before we hit our This Is Not Financial Advices segment, their updated guidance for the rest of the year, what's the scoop?
They're feeling good, raised their full-year guidance. They're now projecting gross bookings to grow by approximately 5%, EBITDA and EBIT margins slightly up, and revenue growth holding steady at around 6% compared to last year.
So steady, consistent growth across the board.
That's the message they're sending. Riding the travel rebound, doubling down on B2B and loyalty, and smartly integrating AI into their operations.
Okay, this is where things get a little more speculative and a lot more fun. Our favorite segment. This is not financial advice.
Remember, folks, just for entertainment here.
Exactly. Just exploring some out there but maybe possible ideas.
So given Expedia's strong B2B performance and the potential for even more growth in alternative accommodations, especially with Vrbo's moves, I've got a bold one.
Ooh, I love bold. Hit me with it.
What if we looked at a bullish call option spread on EXTE stock?
Hold up. For our listeners who aren't options gurus, break that down a bit.
Sure. A call option basically gives you the right, but not the obligation, to buy a stock at a specific price by a certain date. A spread involves buying and selling call options with different prices. It creates defined risk and profit potential.
So we're betting Expedia's price goes up, but with a safety net.
Exactly. Let's say we buy call options with a strike price of $180, just above the current price, expiring January 2025. We also sell call options with a strike price of $200, also expiring January 2025.
Gotcha. So if Expedia blasts past $200 by January, we're celebrating with a vacation booked through Expedia, right?
We can only hope. But even if it hits, say, $190, we still profit. The beauty is our potential loss is limited to the difference between what we paid for those two options.
So potential for decent gain, but even if things go south, the downside is capped. Sounds like an exciting ride.
It could be. But remember, all hypotheticals, just for fun. Always do your own research. Talk to a professional before making any investment moves.
Couldn't agree more. This is not financial advice.
Yeah.
Just getting the wheels turning. Now, let's shift gears and delve into the wider implications of all this. Okay, so zoom out for a sec. What does Expedia's performance tell us about the whole travel scene?
What's interesting is even with all this talk of economic uncertainty, people are still itching to travel. Like, that travel bug is hard to kill.
It really is. And Expedia is tuned into that. Their push into international markets. Hotels.com gaining traction in places like Scandinavia shows they're going where the growth is.
Exactly. It's like riding the wave of global travel coming back strong. And their success with those multi-item trips, those vacation packages, shows they get what travelers want these days.
Convenience is king, especially in a world where everyone's busy. Expedia gets that.
For sure. They're all about making travel planning easy, which is huge for people who want to maximize that precious vacation time.
We got to talk about AI, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
The elephant, or maybe the algorithm in the room.
Yeah.
Expedia is clearly leaning in. What does this tech-driven approach mean for travel long-term?
Now that's a question. AI could revolutionize not just how Expedia works, but the whole travel experience. Imagine AI making personalized itineraries, predicting travel trends before they even happen, suggesting hidden gems you'd never find on your own.
Like having a super smart travel agent who knows your taste better than you do.
In a way, yeah. AI can analyze tons of data, your past trips, what you browse online, even social media to make recommendations just for you. It can even adjust your itinerary in real time based on weather, flight delays, local events, all that.
Wow, that's next level.
Yeah.
But does all this AI mean the human touch disappears?
It's a fair point, but I see AI as making the human element even better, not replacing it. Think of it this way. AI handles the basic stuff so human travel agents can get even more specialized and creative.
So instead of just booking flights and hotels, they become experience designers.
Exactly. Using their expertise and that personal touch to create truly unforgettable trips just for you. Imagine working with an agent who knows the best-kept secrets in Tuscany, can hook you up with a private wine tasting, get you tickets to a sold-out show in Paris.
Now that's the kind of travel I'm talking about. And speaking of unique experiences, Vrbo. They're making moves in alternative accommodations. Where do you see this going in the next few years?
Alternative accommodations are going mainstream. People love the space, the privacy, that home away from home vibe.
And often they're more budget-friendly than hotels, which is a big plus for a lot of people.
For sure. And Vrbo's on top of it, expanding their inventory, adding more city options, making it all seamless with the Expedia platform. Basically a one-stop shop for hotels and vacation rentals, best of both worlds.
And they're tying it all together with that one key program.
Right. One key is the glue, rewarding travelers no matter where they stay, building loyalty, keeping them in the Expedia world.
Smart strategy. Convenience of one platform, power of AI, a strong loyalty program. Expedia is becoming a real travel companion.
But here's the thing. Will travelers actually go for this vision of the future?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. Expedia is betting big on travel becoming hyper-personalized, tech-driven, totally seamless. Only time will tell if it pays off.
Well, their track record's good, and they're definitely forward-thinking, excited to see how it all plays out.
Me too. The travel industry is fascinating, always evolving, and Expedia is right there leading the charge.
Let's recap the key takeaways from our Expedia deep dive before we move on.
First, crushed earnings expectations, showing they're not just surviving, but thriving right now.
Second, their growth is fueled by that global travel comeback people want to explore, near and far.
Third, they're making smart moves to grab market share in those key growth areas, alternative accommodations, international markets, you name it.
Fourth, AI is a big part of their plan. Streamlining things, personalizing the experience, taking customer service up a notch.
And fifth, one key. That loyalty program is a game changer, building loyalty across all their brands, encouraging travelers to book their whole trip with Expedia.
So basically, Expedia is on the right track, navigating this ever-changing travel world with data, technology, and really understanding what travelers want.
Absolutely. Now, as we wrap up our Expedia journey, I want to leave everyone with one last thing to think about.
Oh, I like where this is going. Lay it on us.
Here it is. If Expedia keeps doing what they're doing, integrating Vrbo fully, making the most of one key, could they become the place to go for everything travel? What does that open up for them and for you as a traveler?
That's a great question. It's all about imagining the future of travel and what role Expedia might play. We've looked at the numbers, the trends, the strategy. Now it's your turn. What possibilities do you see?
Exactly. It's an exciting time to be a traveler, and Expedia's pushing towards a more personalized, seamless, inspiring experience.
All right, so we've gone through Expedia's Q3. Their strategies, even dabbled in some "this is not financial advice" speculation. Big question, smooth sailing ahead, or are there some bumps in the road for them?
You know, from what we've seen, they're handling the travel world pretty darn well, riding that travel rebound wave, investing in those hot areas like vacation rentals, going international, and of course, all that AI stuff.
It's like they're not just keeping up, they're setting the trends. Personalization, convenience, that whole seamless experience across their brands, that's some innovative thinking.
And yeah, can't forget one key. That loyalty program is genius. One reward system, no matter which brand you use, keeps people coming back to Expedia no matter what.
Exactly. Everyone wins. Expedia gives good service, travelers get rewarded, everyone has a smoother, more personalized travel experience. So yeah, to answer your question, I think Expedia is in a good spot, not just surviving, but thriving in this crazy travel world.
True. But gotta remember, no journey's perfect, right? Travel changes constantly. The economy, global events, even just what people feel like doing it all plays a part.
For sure. But Expedia seems ready to adapt. They've got the data, the tech, and they really get what travelers want.
Couldn't agree more. They've shown they're resilient, they can adapt, and they're always looking ahead to what's next.
So what's the big takeaway for our listeners today?
Expedia is a company to keep an eye on. They're not just booking trips, they're pushing boundaries, changing the game. Whether you're planning your next vacation or just curious about the future of travel, watch what they do. You might be surprised.
Well said. And that, my friends, wraps up our deep dive into Expedia Group's Q3 2024 earnings call. Hope you found it insightful, informative, and maybe even a little bit inspiring. As always, do your own research, explore the world, and most importantly, happy travels.